I want to welcome everyone to our Trilogy presentation with Take Shape for Life. If you're new to us and our vision to get America healthy, let me let you know that we call this a Trilogy presentation, and this word Trilogy, Dr. Ray thinks he made it up. Now, we have in California, down here in Palm Springs, a golf course called the Trilogy Golf Course. So I tell Dr. Ray, he didn't make it up. It already existed. But in any case, in this world, Take Shape for Life, it's surrounded around having your life in balance. That's healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances, having everything work together in this synergistic trilogy, hence the word trilogy. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Shonna Perry. Shonna is my colleague in Take Shape for Life. We're kind of connected at the hips and the elbows, and we work together to keep the people in Palm Springs healthy and around this country. And I'll say a little more about herself. I won't steal her thunder, but Shonna, thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, Robert, thank you. It's such a privilege to be here, and especially with all of our colleagues and new people. It's always great to share these moments where we can learn from each other, and you're kind of understating our relationship. You've been a fantastic and strong mentor for myself and all of our team members, and I appreciate that, but also I thank you because, you've given us much of our lives back. So anyway, thanks for having me here. So I think I'll just jump in. Discovering Take Shape for Life. And Robert, go ahead. I know we did all of our that's great. Thank you. Is about, again, organizing your life around what's most important to you. And I think it's great for all of us to step back and say, okay, well, are we doing exactly what we want to be doing? And do we have the energy and the resources available to complete those parts? If you wouldn't mind just going back one.
Sure.
I want to talk about how I
said back.
That's okay. That's good. Here's a little preview of what's to come. Okay. So this is my husband and I, Dick. He's my partner in life and, of course, in Take Shape for Life. And what I love about this picture of us on the left is the scene behind us is the Grand Canyon. And while we've made a lot of jokes about this, about it being the only venue large enough to actually fit both of us in the same photo, the reality is that we drove from Palm Springs to the Grand Canyon, got out, took this picture, got back in the car, and pretty much you probably went to a restaurant and drove home because we weren't sick. We just weren't very healthy, and it was laborious for us to drag that much weight around. And so we didn't see very much of the Grand Canyon except what you can see at the lookout. And so I love putting these other photos in. We're able to do the things we truly love. We fly fish, we go golfing, and we're happy all the time. And of course, I love our picture with Dr. Ray of being able to travel around the country, spreading health, or the word about health, and just sharing that with a lot of people. And of course, being able to do that with Dr. Ray. I don't think you meet anybody who's more inspirational or can pump you up as much as he can. So thanks. You can go to the.
And just for fun, Shonna, how much did you
thanks. Yeah, I lost 65 pounds and Dick lost 88 pounds. So, we lost a human between us. And we're not looking back. It's 5 years now that we've kept our weight off, and we're very excited. We get younger and younger every year, and I'm sticking with that. So who's Take Shape for Life? It's a group of like-minded people moving toward a goal of creating health in the U.S. and beyond, we hope, in the very near future. We have a great deal of corporate assistance. We use medically formulated products. We have an educational component, and we have one-to-one personalized coaching. Those are the things that truly set us apart from everything else that is available. There's so much information, mostly misinformation, on how to become healthy. And Take Shape for Life really, really makes a dent in the information system and keeps it flowing. Thank you. So what we what we espouse is the trilogy of optimal health. And that's what Robert was talking about earlier, a healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. And we love this trilogy wheel because a person can really figure out where they are. So if you're new to our program, please take a look at this and definitely get with the person who invited you so that you can get your own copy. But as you're looking at healthy body, you're checking off, am I at a healthy weight? How do I eat? Am I getting great sleep? And where do you fit in that? So let's say today you're a 5. The real question is, how do I move to a 6? How do I get to a 7? And start changing my life a little bit every day. So a healthy mind, if you don't feel good, if you don't feel good about yourself, if you're not optimally moving in the direction that you visualize, then your mind is not going to be in all the right places for yourself. And what are your relationships like? How you feel about yourself reflects into all of those relationships as well. And are you, feeding your are your finances being depleted because of your illnesses? Are you pharmacologically ingrained? Are you paying a lot for your health insurance, but are you also paying a lot of co-pays? And what other things are you paying out just to support your health? But also, are you financially free to do the things that you want to do? So thanks, let's move forward. So we have a comprehensive program for that. We have a scientifically proven product. We use the MetaFast 5-in-1 plan as our basic plan for weight management. And with that, you have the support and accountability of a free health coach. And we have a huge community of people and resources, doctors, nurses, and others within our community to be able to support you. A lot of online access, and also the habits of health system to create really those habits, to develop the habits, make you more aware of the things that you want to complete or further in your lifestyle journey. Thanks. Let's move forward. So what is the Optimal Health 5-in-1 plan? And I love that we're going to show you 2 examples of 2 plans. So optimal weight, how do I reach a healthy weight? Well, we're going to use our portion controlled meal replacement meals. We have about 90 to choose from. If you have a hankering for something, we can actually manage that. I love that I can have 5 brownies in a day. So with those 5 medically formulated meal replacements, you also have a lean and green meal that you can prepare yourself, or you can go out for a meal, or we also have some lean and green meals for you to choose from. So it's very easy, it's convenient, and each product has exactly the same nutritional footprint. So it doesn't matter what you choose. If you want chicken noodle soup for breakfast, you can do that. It's fine. And again, if you want to be on the brownie weight plan like I was, then you're going to love that too. So the whole goal is to get you in a fat burning state, right? Once you reach that and you start using your own body for fuel, you start feeling really good. A lot of things happen. You start getting energy. You're feeling satisfied. You are moving forward. So again, convenient, easy, and a complete no-brainer in weight management. Let's go to the 3-in-3. So our Optimal Health 3-in-3 plan is developed primarily for maintenance. However, we can see a lot of great uses for this, but it's used to sustain your healthy weight for a long time. Many times we wonder what's going to happen to me after I, lose my weight. In weight loss, it's hard for people to imagine that there isn't a finish line. And we don't want that. We want a lifestyle change. And that's why the habits of health are so important in incorporating that. And with that, the Optimal Health 3-in-3. So you can pick 3 balanced meals that you prepare every day, and then use 3 of our Optimal Health products throughout the day because they're quick, they're convenient, they're easy, and you can depend on them. You can count on it. And again, the whole point is to continue to eat every 2.5 to 3 hours, right? So that you keep your metabolism stabilized, and keeping your energy level up. And you get to choose this plan into maintenance. You're going to eat like this anyway, so having some of these products to help you forward is just great. Great. So what we're really trying to do is create long-term health. And Dr. A's health system is really probably, I don't know, for me personally, when I started my journey, I kind of was looking at the finish line. When I saw our transition plan and when I began, it was about 12 weeks long. Right now, it's about 6 weeks long, and every bit is effective. And I couldn't see myself doing that. Once I got there, 12 weeks just didn't seem like long enough, right? Because I was getting into the habits of health. So I'd reached a healthy weight. I was then transitioning to eating more balanced meals that I was preparing myself. And then I'm trying to further now, at this point, optimize my health and move into longevity. So it's a never-ending system of support. Now, people get to use this program exactly the way that they want to. If they do it the way that it's written, they're going to enjoy a long, healthy life. Let's move. Thank you. So probably the real magic comes with having somebody that can walk with you. Your coach and the optimal health community that we have, you lock arms with someone who supports you completely. It's the one person that's always in your corner, always available to help you and move forward.
Sorry.
That's okay. Can you move back just one?
Sure.
Thanks.
When I click this thing, something to my left, there we go.
Oh, great. So some of the things besides the online community that I talked about and the doctors and nurses calls and the habits of health system, but a complete nutrition support team. That's very valuable to all of us when we move into transition and we're trying to ascertain the correct amount of calories and fitness level of each one of our clients. I just love this picture of Greg. Greg is also a mentor for us. And, a lot of people think that many times when you ask people, so what are you doing? How are you controlling your weight? And the first thing is, well, I just joined a gym. And, we're coming into that time of year right now when gym memberships are like skyrocketing and the gyms know that they can write about as many as they want to, because about the third week of January, that gym's empty again. Right? Everybody has such great intentions. And Greg worked through this. He spent an entire year training for triathlons. He weighed 233 pounds. You can see his BMI was 32. He had family history. He tried dieting and tried exercising. So he hired a personal trainer, and he knew that what he wanted to do was complete this triathlon, which he did. He did a great job. And after that entire year of training, he lost 1 pound. And I think he said, $5,000, something like that. So, his out-of-pocket expense for that 1 pound was, pretty high. But he also ruined some knees. He felt terrible. It just didn't have the value packed to it. So I think the average person, if you ran a marathon, you could actually lose 1 pound of body fat in that exercise. But who wants to do that? Let's move to his next slide. Thanks. So basically, Greg was on the sumo wrestler diet, right? It was like he'd starve all day long, and at night he'd eat one big meal, right? Well, that is exactly the prescription for a sumo wrestler. And I think we know that doesn't work. So moving into eating every 2.5 to 3 hours, when he met Dr. A, getting into the program, seeing the sustainability that it worked for him, he was all in. And he lost most of his weight. Robert, thanks. Let's go back to Greg.
Okay.
He lost almost all of his weight within about, I think, 6 weeks there. And after having spent all of that time working so hard and developing the muscle strength. What, Fred? Do it again. 10 weeks, Fred, is that what
he lost 50 pounds in about 10 weeks.
10 weeks, thank you. Yeah. So it was moving. So why does it work? Let's move to the next one, Robert. Yeah. The reason that it works so well is that we get to control our baseline insulin, or our insulin levels and our glucose levels. As you can see on this slide, if this was the manner that somebody ate with these small, high glycemic meals, that they would reach a point, they're very narrow ridges, they're very high, and then the drops below the baseline glucose level are really hard on people. That's when people experience hypoglycemia or lack of blood sugar. So those can be really detrimental. But normally the way that we react to that is that we start feeling sluggish and tired. So all day long, we're responding to the need to add more glucose, right? So we have high sugar meals, and we bottom out below that. And at the end, we have one great big meal, and that usually causes that nighttime coma, right? Where you wake up at the end of your program and you don't know what happened for the rest of it. So trying to stay away from this. And the opposite of this, and I don't think we have the next slide, is to try to keep our meals, our glycemic levels, just at that baseline insulin level and small little hills that we go through every day, so that we don't experience the spikes in our blood sugar and then those rapid crashes afterwards. Oh, there he is. So he lost 50 pounds in 10 weeks and he feels great. And you can see the after picture here is fantastic. And then, we say results not typical. Typically we use lose 2 to 5 pounds in the first 2 weeks, and then 1 to 2 pounds every week after that. But Greg has sustained this weight loss for, I think, 13 years now. He looks fantastic. He feels great. And then again, it's another example of somebody looking younger and younger every year after really getting rid of their or improving their health.
Well, thank you, Shonna.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry I didn't do a very good job moving your slides for you.
So you did a good job.
But in any case, I think you have a great idea of what we offer clients. We have these 2 great programs, 5 and 1 and 3 and 3. What ways that you can lose the weight as well as look good, feel good, be healthy, and strive and thrive towards better health. Some of our clients and some people who are entrepreneurs, they really want to join us in our partnership to get America healthy. Shonna was one of my wife's first clients. My wife happens to be a physician. We didn't go into this business looking for business. My wife went into this business looking for something that would actually work, something that would help her patients. I know she spent, the first 8 years of her practice, she had 3 women that were able to actually lose weight and get in a healthy space. And she said, as a doctor, that's not a very good track record. She felt very defeated in that space. So Take Shape for Life was the first thing I worked. I think our first 3 clients, Shonna being one of them, all had great success. And it wasn't very long after that, Shonna asked, hey, I want to be a coach too. And we didn't even know that someone could be a coach. We didn't know we were involved in a business. So we kind of came out of blind, but it's been a wonderful blessing for us. And I'll get to more of that in a moment. But in terms of like workspace and why people join us is that right now, I don't know if you know this, but if you're in a middle income America, you make less than you did in 1989. It's been a tough economic environment to be in if you're in the middle class. A lot of people don't like their jobs, and those that like their jobs wish they made more. Is anyone like that on the call tonight? You one of those 2? You probably fit in one of those 2 categories in some regard. And that's why people are finding, Take Shape for Life as a really nice place to partner. And it's not something I want you to think of as extra. It's really something that you can center your life around. So the little metaphor, the picture I want you to see, how it's worked for me at least, is that if you're in the water, if I throw you in the deep end of the pool and you're treading water, you have a lot going on, right? You're splashing, coughing, trying to just keep your head above water. Anyone feel like that? If someone would throw you a life preserver, would you take it? So what I want you to think of, Take Shape for Life, it can be this life preserver. Now you have to get it on. That might take a little bit of work, and you might have to battle that a little bit. But once you understand what we have to offer, it can be really something you can center around your life around and make a huge difference for you. So what is financial health? We look at our abundant living. It's not just about money. It's about healthy body, healthy mind, all three aspects of the trilogy. We really embody the whole idea of being the best client we can be, as well as being a great coach, and really being an example of holding each other accountable. And this is our coaching model. We have, I guess, there's modes of income, as well as, I guess you call them, what do we call it? We call it a progressive model of basically of competencies. And in these competency levels, you know, you only have to go where you need to go for your goals. And what I want to say is, if you join us as a health coach, that your business is your business. It's not our business. We are in the business of helping people get what they want. So when you say, this is what I'm looking for, we can show you a very predictable path to get there. But in any case, sort of where we start, well, there's one step before this, and it's called being a client. We all are good clients, right? First and foremost, and we're always a client. We're always moving our health forward. And a health coach is someone who helps people on their journey. A business coach is someone who might help other health coaches get started. And then business leader is someone who helps build leaders in an organization. And there's paid competencies for all those levels. And I've asked a couple people to come on the call tonight, so you can hear for we're regular people, but there's some more regular people with us tonight. And Jason, if you're on the call, I ask you to mute yourself and join us. I know I saw you.
Hear me okay, Robert?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Good.
Thanks for having me. I remember when you and I first talked about Take Shape for Life, I actually was just interested in being a client. I remember I was just calling about me and Buddy getting started, but so I think kind of right from the beginning, I like the idea of like linking arms with somebody, and so to be able to link arms with like you and Shonna and Whitney has just been really good. So I appreciate you guys for that. But when we started as a coach, both Kim and I, husband and wife team, when we started, we were just looking to close a $400 gap in our budget. That's really kind of all we were looking for when we first started. And so you can imagine how excited we were when like 60 days later, we found ourselves making $400 and closing that gap. And so that was great. But then like, as we started helping more people, the incomes continued to build. And so we started stockpiling the money that we had that we were making above and beyond 400. And about 18 months later, we took our family on a dream vacation where we went to Universal Studios and Disney World, and the kids got to see a live space launch from Kennedy Space Center, which was like a once in a lifetime opportunity. And so really exciting. And we started to kind of believe like this could be, like you described, something that we could center our lives around. And we were seeing like all these things kind of come together in our life. And we were really excited. But so like 6 months later, we became executive director and kind of moved into that business coach phase that you were just talking about. And we started seeing a significant impact to our bank account, something that we had kind of quietly dreamed about, but we're like actually starting to see the fruit of. And so that was exciting. But I think what we probably appreciated most was what we didn't expect, or certainly what I didn't expect. And what I mean by that, for example, is that in the process of refining my skills as a coach, that I would become a better listener, and that would make such an impact on my marriage with my wife. I think what I noticed too, Robert, was that as we started to have success as a client and even as a coach, that we started to just approach life differently, just almost courageously. Like I think there was a part of life that we, although pretty successful, we were there was like just this timidity there. We were playing kind of like not to lose, and we just started playing to win. And what I didn't expect was that would be so contagious even within our own family. And so our 16-year-old daughter is probably, we've probably rubbed off on her the most. And so she's just finished her junior year of cross country season. She was MVP. She has several colleges that are pursuing her. And we feel like that's all a big part of this kind of mental shift that we've really had with Take Shape for Life. And so we love the fact that we've been able to set some goals and achieve the goals through Take Shape for Life. But I think it's the stuff that we didn't expect that's been really exciting.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for sharing that.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And we have Ron Cochran with us tonight too. Ron, can you unmute yourself?
I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, thanks for inviting me, and happy holidays to everyone. Just as everyone else has already described, you come to Take Shape for Life. In my particular case, it was to lose a little weight, as you can see. I'd struggled with my weight for all my life. I tried one program after another, bariatric surgery. I tried everything. And at one point in time, I was exposed to Take Shape for Life in 2011. And right after my doctors had told me I'd be in a wheelchair within 6 to 9 months, well, that wasn't very appealing. And I was really desperate, and I had the energy and the will to try one more time. So I began the Take Shape for Life journey, and it was just to get healthy, to lose some weight. And along the way, my health turned around. I lost 110 pounds in 10 months, but I had degenerative joint disease. I was taking oxycodone 4 times a day, acid reflux, all the weight-related diseases that you might imagine, sleep apnea, you name it, I had it. So as those started to fall by the wayside and my medications went from, I was taking 14 a day, which is what this is, down to 2. I thought, there's got to be a way that I could share this with somebody. I was out of hope when I found Take Shape for Life, and I know that other people find themselves in a similar position. So if I could spread the word to other people that there is hope, you don't have to give up, there is a path to optimal health, and I'd like to walk that path with you. It's been transformative for me as a person. It's enabled me to help other people along the way. It's been a win-win-win. Jason mentioned money. Well, when you go from 14 medications to 2, suddenly I'm saving $240 a month on copays. So there was nothing negative, and there was nothing but win-win-win. My health turned around, my weight turned around, my finances turned around, and frankly, now that I can touch other people, I think my outlook for the future is phenomenal. So Take Shape for Life, I owe it all to Take Shape for Life and my mentors. It was great.
Thank you, Ron. And I know we do this in 30 minutes, so I'm going to speed these last few slides up here. But essentially, in Take Shape for Life, you get compensated for 3 things, and that's enrolling and supporting clients, mentoring health coaches, and developing leaders. And we'll look at what that looks like income-wise, just to kind of give you an idea. And so when you look at what you might do, what's a reasonable amount to expect from a reasonable amount of effort? And this I'll call this base level of senior coach. This is someone who has 5 clients on average, 5 clients or more. They're making about $300 a month. I call that a spare time job. We have a lot of people who do this, and this is about a $4,000 a year income. So if you thought, hey, if I worked an hour or 2 a week, would that be worth a $4,000 raise for me? And just think about the people I get to impact and help along the way, my friends and family. And typically, this is a referral business, so it ends up being their friends and family, which you may not know when you get started, but you will soon. An executive director, both Ron and Jason, who spoke earlier, have reached this rank. Our average executive director, they're helping over 20 clients, and they make closer to $3,000 a month, $2,800. And this, again, is a part-time job for most people who do this. This is about a 10 to 15-hour a week type of effort. And so what are the advantages of coaching? Well, there's the freedom and flexibility to work when you want to work. You can use that dead time in your day that you don't get any compensation from to help other people. There's reward for helping people. It helps you stay accountable. It's hard to be a teacher if you're not being a student, you know what I mean? So you get to show up. You don't stray very far yourself before you get right back in line, which is great. There's no inventory. There's no territories. There's none of that wholesaling. The client deals with the company pays you for supporting the client. One of the aspects I love about this business as well is that you are free to the client. If the client went and bought Medifast through our company direct, they would pay actually 25 cents more per box if they bought it from you. You're a discount to your client. That's a wonderful thing. So I think the nice thing about this is that the company realizes that when we lock arms with a client, they're way more successful. So they take part of the money they would receive from that client and they give it to the coach. These are a couple of my photos. I'll just give the 5-second story. The top one is us at a dude ranch for spring break. We used to go in the summer when it was hot to Arizona. Anybody been to Arizona in the summer? The horseback riding is cheap, but your butt sticks to the saddle. It's the only downside. So it's nice to be able to go during spring break when it costs more, but you have time off with the kids and you can afford it. And the bottom picture is my wife and I in Italy at Hotel Santa Caterina. Beautiful. Anyway, it was like Jason. It was one of those lifetime things we wanted to do, and we were able to do it. Thanks to Take Shape for Life. And this, looking at the business, this first green line is sort of the client income. If you think about the company is a way to really ramp up quickly. We have coaches that ramp up to a couple $1,000s a month pretty quickly, so they have an income to support themselves, and team income over time can surpass that. And these ranks are people who have both clients and they're starting to work building coaches. It's optional. You can do either or, but it's really best if you do both. And so these integrated ranks are someone who has at least 5 of those basic spare time teams I talked about earlier. And you can see the integrative executive director was making $2,800 before. Now they're making $5,100. So there's a significant increase. My wife and I have been integrated national directors for about 3 years. Again, that's part-time for me. I have 2 girls, and they're almost out of the house. I won't have them very much longer, and when they leave, I'll probably work a little more. But I really enjoy the steady growth with this business and the income that it provides. I make more than I did as a teacher, and I work less hours, and it's more flexible. And so if you're considering, should I do something like this? Is this a great investment of my time? Is it going to go away tomorrow like the cassette tape or the CD? Well, I have good news for you. We have the baby boomers are retiring, and they do not want to sit around watching reruns of Jeopardy. It's not their deal. So they want to be healthy. They want to enjoy life. They're looking for answers, and we certainly have that. And just to be transparent, this is what it costs to be a coach. It's very, very simple. There's very little strings or caveats. It's $199 to become a coach. In the first month, if you have 5 clients, they give you a $100 bonus straight back, plus your income for supporting those 5 clients. The other investments to make is certifications, a one-time fee of $200, which gives you a 2% increase in your raise for your lifetime as a coach, and your annual renewal is $99. There's nothing else. You don't have to buy food to be a coach. There's no funny business. It's really, really, really simple. And what I would suggest is just to get with the person that invited you. And they can go over with a little more detailed information with them or their mentor and look at this business to see how it might fit in your life and see if it's a fit for you. And I'm going to go ahead and just stop our